So this is the tutorial for through part 2 glass. We're going to break this down into 3 different segments. It's going to be 1, basic walkthrough. 2, we're going to go into more detail on one aspect of it that I call the press. And then we are going to do some variations of the setup and the actual penetration itself. So, get into it. First things first, the basic principle on how everything works is that the coin is not here whenever you do it, it's here. So, I won't get into how to get it there just yet. Like I said, I'm going to go through a bunch of variations. We'll explain that later. So, start off with it on the wrist, and what happens is, when it's here, you'll do a false pickup, transfer it, then comes the tap, and this is where the sound comes from. As you tap, you're going to hit the fingers and your wrist at the same time. It's going to produce that nice tapping sound. Then you're going to bring this over, and the coin's going to rest on the lip of the glass. Then you're going to do the press, which I'll get into more detail in just a moment. And it'll flip the coin into the glass. Simple as that. So, let's go ahead and get into some setups. James, how do I get this coin onto my wrist? Glad you asked. I'm going to show you 4 different ways. First way is probably my favorite and one of the simplest ways to go about it. It happens right in front of the spectator, and it got a nice level of comfort to it. So basically what you do is you're going to start with the coin in your offhand. You're going to transfer it over to your dominant hand, curl the fingers to conceal the coin a little bit, and you're just going to hop it around in this hand. Do the same thing in this hand, but in the process of hopping it about, you're going to bring it onto the wrist. Pick it up like so, false transfer, and move forward. So, toss it into this hand, bring it over into this hand, hop it onto the wrist a little bit, and continue. Second way that I'm going to show you guys is a false pickup. So basically all you do is you'll start with the coin in whichever hand you're most comfortable with doing this. And all you're going to do is you're going to come over it, and in the action of picking up the coin, you're going to sweep it onto the wrist. There are multiple ways to go about doing this. You can do it like that. You can have it with your thumb out like this and scoot it on. Mess around with some different variations. You may also already have several ways to go about doing this, whatever you're more comfortable with. The third way to do it is just simply through misdirection. You will, say you have the coin in the glass, dump it into your hand, and then in the action of setting the glass down, you're just going to pop it onto the wrist. So, into the hand, set the glass down, pop it onto the wrist, move forward. The last way to do it is to have the coin in the glass, and what you're going to do is you're going to start with it on the walls here. This will prevent the coin from, whenever you tip it, it won't wobble and flip out of the glass. It will actually stay nice and flat as it comes out. And you're going to do exactly what I just did there. Curl in the fingers to conceal the glass, or to conceal your palm a little bit. You're going to take it, you're going to bring the glass back slightly more, a little bit higher, and you're going to dump it out onto the wrist. Now, one thing that will help you achieve this, if you're finding it difficult to do so, is to just use a little bit of moisture, either from the glass, place it on your wrist, or simply just breathe onto it. And this will make it quite easy for the coin to stick on there. Like that. False transfer. Move forward. Alright. Those are a couple variations on it. Let's go ahead and get into some variations on the actual penetration. Or that was the wrong thing. We're not doing the penetration next. We're getting into the press. press. Let's get into the press. This is the press, and in my opinion, the neatest part of this, because the way it works is like tiddlywinks. If you don't know what tiddlywinks are, I promise they're a real thing. Pause the video, go look them up real quick, see how they work, and it'll explain a lot about the move that I'm about to show you. So, let's go through the basic principle, and then I will run through some adjustments that you may or may not need to make depending on the size of your hand and glass. So, ideal scenario, coin is on the wrist, we've tapped, you bring them together, and the coin is going to be leaning over the edge of the glass, hanging off the edge, in my ideal situation, about 3/5 of the way hanging off the edge. And whenever I do that, and I take the glass lip right here and press it to the coin, what it's going to do is rapidly propel the coin into the glass. Like this. Like that. And the coin shoots in there so fast that you can't see it whenever you do the move, and you have the cover of your hand a little bit. So, some things that may take some adjusting is your position of the lip of the glass on the coin. You may find that you get a better result by having it almost hanging off the edge. For me, it works okay. Perhaps you want maybe a quarter. Works pretty well. So, screw around. Ultimately, what you are trying to achieve is having the coin on the wrist, and so much so that your hand can still be nice and over the glass and not hanging off down here to the bottom, and you're still able to apply the pressure to get the penetration. So, let's run through some variations on what you can do with the penetration, and be good to go. This is going to be hopefully your favorite part of it whenever you're practicing in front of the mirror or the camera, whatever you've got going on at your home. So, the way that I like to do it most and provides the most amount of cover, particularly whenever you're first fiddling around with the press, is to do an actual pressing motion like that. So it would be as though you took the coin, tapped, placed it on there, and just smashed it through the glass. What you'll do is you'll press, lift the hand up to reveal the glass, to launch down in there, and hopefully look pretty dope. Another way to go about doing it is essentially the same thing. You're really just working on where the hand is at the time. So if you want, you can lift the hand up and do a bit of a drop into the glass. So you'll tap, come over, lift the hand up, and drop it in there. Another way that you could go about doing this is to not even do a penetration with it. Vanish it, and with a snap or whatever you see fit, do the press, and have it appear inside the glass. Another little thing that you might like to screw around with is a subtlety that my buddy Harry Talbot showed me. And that is to take this, and what he'll do is he'll actually grind the coin on the edge to give it just a little grinding sound on it, and then he'll do that. Just an added little thing that you can put in there. Funnest part of this is just screwing around, like I said, in front of the mirror and the camera, finding what works best for you and what you think looks the coolest. Whichever one you think looks the coolest, go with that one, my friend. outside of that, you guys are good to rock and roll on through part 2, Glass. Do some performances from different angles. Follow along. Wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for the support. DJ and I'll catch you soon.